What would you want to hear at your funeral? Now, I know you're not going to be able to hear what's being said on that day, but if you could, what would you want to hear? Father's Day was this past weekend, Mother's Day just a month earlier. Would you want to hear your children talking about what a good parent you were, loving, patient, and present? Would you want to hear your spouse talking about how blessed they were to have you as their husband or wife, that you were considerate, faithful, and selfless in your relationship? Would you want to hear a pastor talking about the faithful service you offered the Lord through the ministry of your church? Would you want to hear people crying, mourning your loss, and grieving over the thought of going on in life without you? What would you want to hear at your funeral? In our worship this weekend, we'll hear the account of a 12-year-old girl who was dying. Her father came to Jesus asking for his help, but by the time they arrived back at the house, the girl was dead, and the funeral had begun. There was quite a commotion, with all the people crying and wailing loudly. They recognized how tragic the situation was for her mom and dad. They grieved over the thought of this family continuing on without their little girl. What were the people saying? She was too young. She was a beautiful little girl with a bright future. She was a kind, obedient daughter. Whatever the others were saying, it was Jesus who said the words that matter most. He told that little girl, "Get up," and immediately she did. Aren't these the words that we ultimately want to hear at our funeral? Thanks be to God, through faith in Jesus, we will hear them. They may not come on the day of our funeral, but they will come. Jesus has promised it. At death, our souls will immediately go to be with our Savior. But the day will come when Jesus will raise our bodies as well. In John chapter 5, Jesus says, "A time is coming when all who are in their graves will hear his voice and come out." A time is coming when all who trust in Jesus as their Savior will hear him say, "Get up." Those are the words that matter most. Those are the words that we are all wanting and waiting to hear.